Howdy, Superbasshole Fishing Tournament family. Kevin Wilson coming back to you again. We are right down to the wire for the start of the Superbasshole Fishing Tournament. Now, I hope that all of you out there will participate and take a shot at getting some outstanding prize boxes that we have put together for this year's tournament. It's going to be a lot of fun. In the past, it's just been an absolute hoot, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. And I enjoy putting it together and bringing it to you all to go out there, and test your fishing skills against many other anglers all across the country. Of course, we're fishing by region, but I've seen it draw down to rivalries between states and between individual anglers. Regions overall. It's just a lot of good-natured fun and a camaraderie that takes place between all the anglers that participate within the tournament. So let's get started with what a first place prize box looks like. Before we do that, let's take a look at what will be going out shortly after the day one of the tournament. For the 6th heaviest bass caught on the first day of the tournament that are submitted with a validated catch, we'll have t-shirts going out to the participants. And this is, United States wide, 6th heaviest bass, first day of the tournament caught and submitted. T-shirts will be going out. Bear in mind, though, that t-shirts are the end of a series from my good friend Nick Roberts of Angling Addicts of the Pacific Northwest. And we've only got 4 mediums and 2 small. So even if it doesn't fit you, it may fit your wife or one of your kids, or have a friend or somebody that you might want to give it to. But hey, it's just an added extra little bonus for you all out there. Okay. Let's dive into it. Let's start with the plastics this time. From Too Fresh Fishing, we have the Hell Hitter, and this is in the bronze color, and it's brought to us by Terrence Downing of Too Fresh Fishing. He calls this one the Golden Flake. I call it bronze, but this particular color, when the evening shadows start getting long, I love pitching this along the tree lines close to the bank, and this kind of it's not fluorescent, but it puts off a kind of glow that the bass, you can watch it as it settles out there. Then all of a sudden, bang, it's gone, and your line goes tight. It's a wonderful thing. Also new from Terrence Downing of Too Fresh Fishing, we have the Ned pools, and these are the Stickum Juniors. They're 2.7 inches. They're in the fire craw and black tip. Newest in his lineup, and I'm excited about these. From my neck of the woods out here in the Pacific Northwest, we have from Big Sexy Baits, the Banshee. I have used these. I highly recommend them. They're a joy to fish with, and I had a very, very successful day out on the water with these, and that's all I used that day. And it was just an absolute blast. So you can find Big Sexy Baits on Facebook. Check them out and see what they got. They have a myriad of baits, and I don't think you'll be disappointed. What we have here is the 1.25-inch Texas Cricket in the natural polywog collar. It's a 16 count. Now these things are little. Let's see if we can. They're just little. Trout hook. This would be a great crappie bait or a great bluegill bait. I've caught some bass on stuff this small, just, plunking it down into holes on a small hook, and wham, fight's on. Okay, from my good friend, Yaakov Levy of Hebrew Texas Fishing Lures, we have the 6-inch Texas Fatty Wiggler in the Kryptonite Green. I love these. It is a very, very durable worm, and these have gone out in the past, and I'm sending them out again in this year's prize box. I love them. Now we've got bait trailers for swim jigs, and they're also from Yaakov Levy of Hebrew Texas Fishing Lures. Very cool. I've used them, and they're durable. Everything, all the products that Yaakov puts out, they're very, very durable. I like them. It's one of the reasons why I keep going back to him. And on top of that, his customer service is just outstanding. And what we have here is the 7-inch Texas Salamander in the bass hole color. And I've used these, and I've got some ponds out here that are really, really clear. And I like throwing this with a Carolina rig and working it across the bottom and just watch the school of bass follow this thing in. And then one of them invariably always gets, well, I'm going to do it, and he'll snag it up and run for the other end of the pond. It's, you know, it's so much fun. And these things on a wide gap hook work extremely well. And then some of the baits that I started out fishing with initially when I got into bass fishing was from Creme. And let's see, this one is the 5-inch jerk bait, and it's the smoked shad. You know, all the Creme products are really good, and they're fairly inexpensive. So, I mean, if you're looking for a bait, you know, that you can throw and not worry about it getting all tore up, it's, you know, they're all eventually do. But if you're out $1.25 for a packet of 6, well, you know, it's not hard to come up with $1.25 and get after it again. All right, from Davy Starkweather, we have this beautiful swim jig here. And, you know, with the bait trailers attached to this thing, it's just going to add extra movement, and it's just going to absolutely slay. Davy can be found on Facebook at Davy's Custom Lures. Check him out and see what he is doing, and I'm sure he can spice up your tackle box. One of the commercial products that I first started fishing with was this. It is the Arky Salted Crawling Grub, I believe. Yep, grub jig. And out here on the Columbia River, I love driving smallmouth just absolutely bonkers with this thing. Okay, we also have spear point hooks that will be going in the first place prize box. New kids on the block, and their hook design, it will pin the lip of the bass, and I have not lost a bass yet with a solid hook set on these things. And be careful with them. These things are probably the sharpest hooks I've ever encountered. Last thing you want to do is dig them out of your hand, and I can tell you that it is not much fun to do that. Okay, from CCL Lures, from Nicholas Chen, we have this 6-inch glide bait. Beautifully done. And look at that. It's heavy. You're going to need a fairly stout rod to cast this thing in some good heavy line. It's going to work. And then also from Nicholas Chen, we have this vinyl wrap wake bait, and it's done up in a sunfish color. Absolutely beautiful. I've used Nicholas's products a lot, and his customer service is outstanding. And you can find him on Facebook also. From my friend Bo Merkel of Samson's Lures, we have an ugly bug. This is a Generation 3. Beautifully done. And then we have another ugly bug from Bo Merkel right here. Multicolored. And it's a top water bait. And let me tell you, I love fishing top water. And the ugly bug, it is always a joy to throw this thing and watch the bass hook up on it. You know, sometimes they get so excited chasing this thing down in the water that, you know, they'll just knock it straight out of the water, and it is so much fun. Let's continue on with some of the products that I've gotten from Bo, and this is kind of a novelty, and I'm still waiting on the line hangers for this, but Bo's got them coming in the next order, and I've got stuff coming in from Bo still, and there's still stuff outstanding from other proprietors that will be coming in, and they'll be going through the prize boxes. But as they stand right now, they're pretty much complete. But you know, the first place prize box is going to still be plussed up along with all the others. This is a mermaid, and prop on the back, 2 trebles, and Bo has fished it, and he has hooked up bass with it. I thought it was interesting. It's like, you know, why not bring this to some lucky fisherman out there so that they can try, you know, a mermaid too. I don't know what this thing was modeled after, but as you can see, it's a little bit risque, but you know, sometimes life imitates art. So I don't know. Maybe the bass will be all over it. All right. Some more pieces from Davy Starkweather. We have the holographic cicada. I love these things, and there's a pond out there that has 2 of these still roaming around as mouth jewelry for bass. I was using bad line, and they came off, and the bass hit it while it was out there floating around. Talk about upsetting. But some lucky winner out there is going to end up with one of these in their fishing arsenal. I highly recommend them. It's got like the jitterbug front on it. A lot of movement, a lot of excitement on the water. Also, another one from Davy Starkweather is this 4.5-inch jerkbait done up in the bass pattern. Beautifully done. Davy does outstanding work, and highly recommend what he's doing. Also, we've seen this one before, and it is a frog. It is a deep-billed frog. I mean, this is a big bait, but it's light enough that even on if you're using light tackle for fishing bass, you can throw this, and it's going to work. Especially now that it's springtime, and the bass are now beginning to move around, and the frogs are out now, and they're looking for mates. Get this thing moving out there in the water and see what happens. All right, from Jeff Meeks of Drunken Lures, we have this beautifully done glide bait, and he did it up in a kind of a mangrove snapper pattern, and it was a custom order and paint job that I had asked for, and Jeff knocked it out of the park. And let me tell you, Jeff does some really good work, and his clear coating is absolutely flawless. Highly recommend Jeff Meeks of Drunken Lures. Check him out. Okay, where are we at? Okay, here we go. Another one from CCL Lures. We have a 6.5-inch tadpole, and this is from the Predator series. Really outstanding bait. I have hooked up with these. What can I say? Try it, find out. And this pink color is going to attract a lot of attention in the water. All right, let's see what else do we have in front of me. Oh, now we have another type of mangrove grouper and a small glide bait from Bo Merkel. 1 treble on this thing, and I've used this one and I like it, and had it done up in this particular black and white pattern. See if that's coming through. Yeah, okay. And beautiful red eye in it. And I do recommend that once you get this, you glue the tail down on it, because you get a real aggressive bass, he will pop that thing off. So a little bit of super glue or rubber cement, something like that, get that tail attached to the body, and you won't have any problems with it. Okay, another one from Bo Merkel. We have this little glide bait here, 2 trebles. It's a bit smaller. It's done up in the bluegill pattern. Beautifully done. Bo does outstanding work, and he is well represented through all the prize boxes, and especially in the first place prize boxes. I've done a lot of business with Bo. I'm constantly putting in orders with Bo, and with Lou Roberto of Get Hooked, and let me tell you, these gentlemen do outstanding work. Now, one of my personal favorites when it comes to bait making is none other than Miss Jen Cravasi. And we have a popper here. It's a smaller type, and it is done up in the Imperial Frog pattern, and it is just beautifully, beautifully done. If you can see that dot on the side there, that is literally a frog eye. And thank you so much, Jen, for your outstanding and awesome work. Oh, by the way, people, we do have stuff that is on the bench right now that Ms. Jen Cravasi is working on, and I will have it in my hot little hands before too long, and it will be going into the prize boxes. I haven't decided which prize box it'll go into. Probably first place. But let me tell you, to have one of Jen's works of art, backwards, is a real joy to spice up your tackle box. I don't know how many of her pieces of work that she has done up for me that have disappeared because my buddies think that they're cool too. I need to get some new friends. You know, maybe not. Friends are hard to come by. Okay. From David Wyatt of Only 5 Customs. Now, this is one of the first pieces that David did, and we worked on this one together. And I was looking for something a little different. It didn't have to be all that flashy, but I wanted it to be effective. And it's kind of a deep pink purple with a green. And we call this one the Molly Ringwald Pretty in Pink Dirty Tequila Sunrise. And it has been slaying all over the United States. This particular color pattern, I don't know what it is about it, but I've been, looking at a lot of lures that people have been using, and was writing down the color combinations, and the 2 most prominent ones that kept coming up was kind of a deep purple, pink, and a green. And I was going like, maybe if we do something with just the 2 simple colors, we'll come up with something that, creates strike after strike. And David has used this extensively where he lives at in Indiana. And it has worked magic there. It has worked magic down in Florida. It has worked magic out here in the Northwest. And I'm sure it will work magic for you too. All right. From Arthur Schwartz of Attack Custom Lures, we have this beautifully done lime-colored craw in a crankbait, square-billed crankbait. Thank you, Arthur. This is a real gem. Real gem. You can find Arthur also on Facebook. Check him out, see what he's doing. He's got some outstanding designs, and I think you will be impressed. All right. From Too Fresh Fishing, we have a drink koozie. So there you go. If you're out fishing, you need to keep your drink cool. Here we go. Courtesy of Terrence Downing of Too Fresh Fishing. Okay, another piece we have from Bo Merkel is this 2.5-inch craw pattern, and I think he's called it the Psycho Craw, if I remember right. And it is just gorgeous. It's got a smattering of red in it. It looks like this thing has, was like a participant in a, homicide. But it is gorgeous piece of work. Gorgeous. All right, from Mr. Lou Roberto of Lou's Lures and Get Hooked, we have this lipless crankbait, and it's done up in kind of a royal purple and blue, and it's got kind of a natural cracked lightning pattern in it. Just absolutely gorgeous. Lou's work is impeccable, and his customer service is outstanding. His group is Get Hooked, and then you can find Lou's lure page on Facebook, and it's Lou's Lures. So check him out. Another one, we have this Whopper Plopper from Lou Roberto. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. From Angling Addicts of the Pacific Northwest, out here in my neck of the woods, from Mr. Nick Roberts. And we have these torpedo spinners right here, and he has used these on bass. He has used them on steelhead, salmon, and he uses them also on the Oregon coast, and he's caught a lot of black bass out on the Oregon coast with these things. And I think he's hooked up a lingcod or 2 with them also. So this is a multi-species lure right here, and it will get it done. Now, one that Nick does that I really, really enjoy, and it has just been a joy to hammer bass with, it is a torpedo spinner, but it has got that squid fringe on it. It's got the head and the eye on it, and this thing works. Only a single hook on it, so you're going to really have to make sure that you've got a good hook set. You don't have that treble in there. But let me tell you, it's a lot of fun to get this thing working through the water. Okay, from Travis Yagi of Yagi's Custom Lures out of Holland, Iowa. Here we go. We have this beautiful spinnerbait. And I believe this one, yep, it's in the perch pattern. And then we also have another spinnerbait from Travis. and it is, yep, the spring bluegill. And I fished with Travis a couple of years ago, and he was throwing these, and he just literally devastated the pond with this, and I had to have some. He reached in his backpack, handed me 8 of them, and he said, do what you want with them. And I said, can I put them in the prize boxes? And he says, yes, go right ahead. And, you know, just because of his generosity and what I saw that he was doing with this particular bait, I said, I've got to have more. I've got to be able to put them in more prize boxes so that more people get a chance to see and experience, you know, a true work of art from, you know, a scholar and a gentleman, Mr. Travis Yagi. All right, we also have bullet weights that will be going into the prize box. We have another piece from Mr. Bo Merkel, and this was a themed Halloween piece, and I don't remember the name of it. It wasn't the Psycho Craw. It was, I think it was the Murdered Insane Clown Posse or something like that. It is a big S crankbait. Look at that. Just gorgeous. I haven't fished this one yet, but and I didn't get one for myself, and I'm really kicking myself in the head for not doing it. But, you know, if you get this and you hook up on it, tell me about it. I want to see the pics. Also, from Mr. Bo Merkel of Samsung. Let's see if I can get this out of the package without hooking anything up. Oh, that's not going to happen. We'll just roll it back. All right, we have the Pompadour. Now, this morning, I was talking with Mark Perry of Crossing Lines Fishing, and he has recently been using the Pompadour that he won in his second place prize box from last year, and he's been using it this year on some of the places that he likes to fish, and he has been just absolutely devastating with it. And he's so impressed with it, he was telling me that I need to get a hold of Bo and get some more of these and done up in specific color combinations that he would like to see on it. So, well done, Bo, and thank you for these beautiful pieces. All right, now let's get into the flies. We have a lot of different flies, and they come to us from Little Creek Flies from Jennifer Lambrine. Look at that. An actual butterfly fly. Put this out there behind a fly bobber, or, you know, if you're fly fishing for bass with a fly rod, there you go. Then we have this beautiful piece right here. And Jennifer has done them on larger hooks so that, you know, it's going to be easier to hook up a bass with these. And they're going to come up, they're going to take it. And we have the dragonfly. I love pitching this thing when the dragonfly hatches on. Let me tell you, they will come up and they follow this thing around and they gobble it up like nobody's business. Beautifully done. Thank you, Jennifer. Now, a piece that I have really enjoyed fishing along the weed mats when the frogs are out is this particular one. You know, it's a fly, technically. It's a top water, big hook on it. It's got the spaghetti fringe, you know, out of plastic on it. It splays out on top of the water, and it's got the weed guard on it, and they just come up out of those deep holes next to the wheat beds and hammer this thing. Joy to throw. And then she has done up also something a little patriotic. Red, white, and blue fly. It's got that nice long tail on it. Look at that. Beautifully done. And then we have this little frog weight bait from Jeff Meeks of Drunken Lures. Yeah, I've used this and it works. Oh my goodness, it works. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. All right, and then as an added bonus that we have going into the prize box from Yaakov Levi of Hebrew Texas Fishing Lures, we have a dreidel. And a dreidel was an ancient Hebrew teaching tool during the Roman occupation of Israel a couple thousand years ago. And just kind of a nice added cultural touch, you know, and you could actually tie this thing up and you could make a float out of it. So, you know, It's like one day, it's like, I need a bobber. You could tie this thing up. You could make it work. All right, my friends. That's what goes into a first place prize box. Now, at the end of the tournament, for the 3 largest bass that are caught, there will be a prize that will be going out to the individual that caught the 3 heaviest bass. And remember, this is a continuous culling tournament, so it will allow you to continue to bump your weights higher and higher and higher. And with that, if you end up like Terrence Downing did last year, I think he had like 23.47 pounds for 3 bass. Just outstanding beasties that he caught. You know, we had a really beautiful plaque done up and it went to him. And I figured, well, something with a little more personal touch. And from Stephen Michaels, we have this bass portrait here. It's a one-of-a-kind that he has done up for us. And I'm going to get a plaque put on this thing, probably somewhere down in this area, maybe up in a corner, so it, you know, it doesn't take away from the beautiful portrait too much. And it'll state Northwest Bass or Superbasshole Fishing Tournament, largest bass caught nationally, and it'll be the date March 20th through June 30th. So that's about all I've got for you, people. Remember, this coming Saturday, March 20th, the tournament starts. So when the sun comes up wherever you're at, that's when it starts for you. And 3 hours later, when the sun hits the West Coast, it starts for us. And the tournament will end June 30th at sundown. And then, you know, shortly after that, we'll get the prize boxes out and moving to you. So I hope that you all can find the time this year to get out and enjoy the outdoors. You know, with COVID restrictions being lifted, let's get out there and make up for last year and just have a blast with this particular tournament. Remember, there are 6 prize boxes per region. We've combined region 1, 2, and 3 into a super region just due to the lack of participation that we have experienced in the Northwest, Southwest, and Upper Midwest. So we've combined that all together. And Region 6 this year, or last year, is now Region 4. Region 5 is Region 3. And Region 2 is, I can't even remember how it all breaks down. But go to Northwest Bass Holes or Crossing Lines Fishing, Angling Addicts of the Pacific Northwest, Operation Tackle Box, Too Fresh Fishing, Get Hooked, I'm Hooked. And you can find the rules there, familiarize yourself with them, and then follow the links and get your account set up as soon as possible, because we're going to be taking everything for the tournament and running it through the website so that you can pull it up anytime and see where your standing's at, the weights that you have to beat, or what the leaderboard standing is, and just general information. So with that being said, people, you have a blessed day. Take somebody fishing with you. Make a memory. And remember, it doesn't matter where you're at. Each and every one of us is northwest somewhere. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye for now.